All right, so since we last met, we found out what we all knew was coming, and that's that the Broncos are going to part ways with brother from another's favorite quarterback, Russell Wilson. It was never a matter of if.
You say he's our favorite quarterback, but
yes.
He's not the quarterback of brother from another, but he's our favorite quarterback. But he's not our quarterback. Maybe topic-wise. Maybe for fodder, Russ fodder.
Yeah, sure.
Because you ain't feeling it. I can tell you ain't feeling it, brother.
No, see, don't do that. Don't do that. See, don't do that. That's the problem. Right there.
Why? What's wrong?
Wait, look. What they call it? Insinuating? Why you insinuate? Like, you ain't feeling the brother? Like, hold on, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's how shit get twisted, man. No.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay?
I'm not.
All right.
I stand corrected. You go.
All right. Anyway, it was never a matter of, let me get to my intro. Never a matter of if, but when and how. And they're going to release him at the start of the league year. But in the meantime, they have given Russell Wilson permission to speak to other teams. Given how much you are feeling the brother, I get the sense that if you were another GM, you'd be falling over yourself trying to meet with Russell Wilson right now. That's the sense I get from you, Michael Holley, is that you be like, yeah.
Yes, I would. And you know what? I'd play it coy. I'm just going to tell you, Denver Broncos, I'm not calling you. What is it, 303 out there in Denver? I'm not calling it 303. I'm not contacting you at all. I'm back channeling this thing because you've got yourself into a bit of a mess cap-wise with Russell Wilson. You decided you wanted to release him.
Well, they don't have to call now. But they don't even have to call.
Huh?
He's got permission. He's got permission to
I know. But what I'm thinking,
though,
see,
this
is okay. But here's the problem. Say permission to speak with other teams. Why do I need your permission? I'm thinking, if you need permission, what are you looking for from us? Why do you want to talk to us? You know why you want to talk to us? You're looking for some kind of deal. You're looking for some kind of cap.
Somebody to bail you out.
Well,
like
yeah.
Why
do I need to talk to? If Russell Wilson,
maybe they're doing him a solid. Maybe they're actually doing him a solid. He's not technically a free agent yet. Maybe they're doing him a solid. Maybe this is a gesture of goodwill after they tried to screw him over with the removal of the injury guarantee. Maybe they're saying, hey, in a couple of days, you're going to be a free agent anyway.
Hey,
why don't you just go ahead and get a head start?
You said the other day you wanted to, growing up, going to McDonough 35, shout out New Orleans, in high school, you wanted to be an NFL insider. That was a dream. And that dream became reality. So you've been studying the NFL for a long time, from afar and on the inside. You know this is a business. Nobody's trying to do you a favor. Nobody's trying to do you a solid. This is dirty business. And so,
okay, but they can't realistically think that somebody's going, at this point, now that everybody knows they're going to release him, now that everybody knows that they're going to have to eat $85 million, it's pointless to think, here you go, Michael, wait for it. If you think that another team is going to trade anything for Russell Wilson's contract, you got another think coming.
Still so wrong. It's wrong. Anyway, they're trying to drum up a market. Maybe they're trying to drum up a market. Hey, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name. Okay. They try to get a couple teams interested in Russell Wilson. And then if somebody's really interested, let's say he wants to go to the Patriots, who have ample cap space, what the Broncos don't have. And the Broncos look at it and say, hey, you know what? Why don't you instead of us eating all of us, why don't you just give us $6 million in relief? $7 million. We'll throw a draft pick your way. Just help us out, because we can't function this way in the next 2 years.
Kind of like the Brock Osweiler, was it?
Yep.
Well, like you're trading the
Brock
contract.
Osweiler. Houston,
all right.
Cleveland.
So
gave him a pick.
I think I'm following you. So you're saying that in exchange for Russ getting a head start on free agency, permission to speak to other teams, you're saying that the Broncos are hoping that Russ falls in love quickly with, say, a Patriots, and then the Patriots and Broncos work something out that allows the Patriots to avoid a potential bidding war with Russ on the open market as a free agent, and this way they basically funnel him to Foxborough. Am I following you?
And right, exactly. And the Broncos, to make this happen, the Broncos have to throw in a sweetener. Not that they have tons of assets, because Michael,
usually you're trading
as I see your feed,
now we're giving you a draft pick to take on the contract. Yeah.
Right. And I see your feed item. The reason they don't have assets is because they gave up lots of assets to get Russell Wilson in the first place. So they are struggling. Their cupboards are bare because they just went all in on Russ. I think if they were to do something like that, that would be mitigating it a bit. It's still a bad trade, horrible. They didn't get anything close to what they paid for, but that is a way to get out without just taking the brunt of all that money.
Okay, so maybe that's what the Broncos are thinking, and that's very astute on your part. It's also wishful thinking, because to me, the most appealing thing about Russell Wilson right now, if I'm another team,
is the cost.
Is that the Broncos will be paying him to play for you. That you can get him for a little over $1 million. And however you receive or perceive what I have had to say about Russell Wilson, I'll take him for $1 million. Sure, why not? That's like low risk, high reward. This is the worst trade ever, and it's only going to get worse. Not just because of what the Broncos gave up to get him, not just because of what they didn't get from him over the last 2 seasons, but because they compounded it by giving him a contract that was completely unnecessary at the time. Like, he leveraged his Russell Wilson-ness into an extension that he wasn't due for and hadn't earned in a Broncos uniform. They just gave it to him because they were excited. Okay, so they gave him this extension. Now, they have the largest dead cap hit in history coming their way over the next 2 years. And like I mentioned, they're going to have to pay him to play for someone else, which will also probably bite them in the ass in some way, shape, or form. The butterfly effect of this trade is fascinating. Okay, so not only is it the worst trade ever, sorry, Trey Lance, that title temporarily, sorry, Mike Dicker, Ricky Williams. I go back to Mike Dicker trading the whole draft for Ricky Williams. That's how I go back. Who could forget the Herschel Walker trade? And hell, high key, the Deshaun Watson trade doesn't look great for Cleveland right now.
That's right.
But Russell Wilson right now has the crown, or the Broncos have the crown for worst trade ever, and it's only going to get worse once he does sign as a free agent with somebody else, and you're paying him to play elsewhere. And here's another one, and I'm not going to say this is impossible. I wouldn't put my money, my personal money on it, but if I were a team, I'd certainly put $1 million. I'd make this $1 million+ bet. I make $1 million+ bet that Russell Wilson will play better for his next team than he did in Denver, which will make that trade look that much worse. So you're paying him to play better than he played for you for somebody else. It's a bad trade that just keeps getting worse with the transaction.
And I guess, if you just look at those numbers there, keep those numbers there on the screen, Russell Wilson, and the record, 30 games. And I know you're not a big fan of quarterback win-loss records. I am. So 11-19. But the stats don't really tell the story. It's one of those you had to be there to understand.
Correct.
42 touchdowns, 19 picks. You go, okay,
right.
That's a pretty good season. 90.9 rating. Okay, not great.
Numbers can lie.
But, the stats
and those
lie,
are the numbers those are the numbers that Russell wants you to look at. Those are the numbers he wants you to focus on. Is that?
But I will say,
42-19.
I will say in his defense, in the Broncos' defense here, previous regime, their defense.
It wasn't set up for
Russell
him.
Russell Wilson has that contract because that was the whole point. Like most of these disputes, like we have a great time, talking, daily about, hey, this guy's unhappy. This guy, he feels like it's not the right fit, or he just wants the chance to win. But ultimately, most of these disputes boil down to money. So Russell Wilson, it wasn't that Russell couldn't cook in Seattle. It was Russell couldn't bank in Seattle the way he wanted to. So he wanted a new contract from the Seahawks.
And his leverage, his leverage in the trade with the Broncos was, I'm coming here, but I need a new contract.
But you going to give me a new deal. And that's why they had to give him a new deal if they wanted Russell Wilson. And at the time,
I guess.
And dude, like, it's funny how things change so much. It was just, when they made that trade, it made sense to us. It didn't seem like
everybody had Denver as the favorite in the AFC West. They were a quarterback away. You got Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. Oh my God, we all got excited. We were
talking about. Remember the way we talked about the AFC West? Oh, look at the quarterbacks. They got Mahomes. You got some competition now.
It was loaded. Oh my God, it was loaded.
Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert.
Will the Chiefs win the AFC West?
And Derek Carr, he's still underrated.
That was 2 championships ago. I feel like that was 2 championships ago. Right?
It was.
Literally 2 years and 2 championships ago, yes.
But yes. I do agree. I'm surprised that the Steelers, Pittsburgh, you ain't that rich. You ain't that well off. Well, you ain't that bougie. You ain't that bougie, Pittsburgh, where you can turn up your nose at Russell Wilson when you messing around with Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett. You ain't that bougie. So, we ain't interested. Oh, no? What else you got in mind? I would say the Patriots should be interested.
Color me surprised.
Yeah.
Color me surprised.
I think the Patriots should be interested. I think the Falcons should be interested. I think the Minnesota Vikings should be interested in Russell Wilson. I think the Raiders should be interested in Russell Wilson. And if all these teams say, not our guy, he's not real, he's not, too much drama, too much high maintenance,
no, it ain't that. It's not that. See, that, okay. I'm sorry. Finish your thought. I'm sorry. Finish your thought.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Because if you're trying to tell me.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Finish your thought.
If not those things. Okay, I'll say it. If not those things. For the reasons you said, I think he'd be my starter because the cost is it's a cap league.
No, it's a great bet. It's a great bet.
It's just
irresistible. Worst case scenario, he's your backup. Why not? Why not find out what he got left, if anything?
And quiet as it's kept, just as an aside, I'm in a league where I might have to draft a brother as a 6th or 7th rounder in our little league we got going here.
What league would that be? Because I've seen zero activity. I've seen zero activity from you. What league are you talking about? Oh, I'm going.
I'm just out here.
Okay.
I'm just out here trusting God.
You're just out here trusting God. I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well done.
I would say my final point on it is, before I toss it back to you is, if all these teams don't want him as a starter, I think teams should be falling over themselves to have him as a good backup. If he's in the mental space to do it, he may not be. I'm not ready. He may not be ready to accept that yet.
Yeah, I tend to doubt that.
Okay. But short of any other good option, hey, if I'm a great team, and I got my quarterback situation, but I know through attrition, just the normal attrition of the NFL, I know I'm going to need more than one quarterback. I'm going to sit back and watch. I'll sit back and watch, and if Russell doesn't find the team that he's looking for, I'd have to make that call because this is a gift for other teams, and it's a burden for the Broncos.
So I'm not saying he sucks. I don't think I've ever said he sucks. I've never said that. Those words have never come out of my mouth.
Okay.
And I wouldn't say that about most people. I don't know that I have, over the course of several decades, said that about anybody. That's just disrespectful. If I have, I apologize retroactively. So I don't think I've ever been that harsh to anybody. But I certainly wouldn't say that about Russell Wilson. That's extreme. I have said that he's not as good as his reputation or his name value would suggest. He has nuanced limitations that escape people who just look at basic counting stats and say, he had 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. He must have been good. It's like, it's not that simple. It's not that simple with Russell Wilson. I think, so what you said a second ago, what I was responding to was, you were like, if you think he's too much drama or he's high maintenance. See, that conversation gets conflated with what he is or isn't as a football player. And Russ defenders, anytime somebody says that Russ is not as good as some people would like to think he is, especially at this point in his career. People, I think, I'm just speculating. I haven't polled all these people, but it feels like people think that is some sort of knock, or that criticism is rooted in a dislike of Russell Wilson, or that it's about his character, or whether or not let's just call it what not what it is, but what the conversation often devolves into, whether he's corny or his blackness. Ain't got shit to do with that for me. Ain't got nothing to do. I'm not talking about Russell Wilson the person. I respect Russell Wilson the person. As I said the other day, he's won the game of life, and he's still winning. We could joke all we want. Y'all could crack jokes all you want about Russell Wilson. Yeah. Russell Wilson is laughing all the way to the bank with this. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. Like, he is laughing to the bank. So, like they know jokes about Russell Wilson. Him and Sierra laughing to the bank, okay? So, no, this is not a personal thing. So that's why I just wanted to, stop with the. I wanted to interject with on the he's too much drama, high maintenance. No, I think he wanted his run of the operation because he thought he was on that level when he first got to Denver. Sean Payton came in and said it's a new sheriff in town. His name is Reggie Hammond. Now, in fairness again to Russell Wilson, nobody could have imagined it being that much of a disaster. Nathaniel Hackett was not cut out to be a head coach. Hell, might not be a great play caller. He may just be a guy that needs to be Aaron Rodgers. Right. You know what I mean? And so he was not. The last 2 years, Russell Wilson has not been put in position to succeed, either because he had a novice head coach / play caller, absent Aaron Rodgers, the cocoon of Aaron Rodgers, or because he was Sean Payton trying to a square peg that Sean Payton was trying to fit into a round hole. So the last 2 years, look, is Russ as good as his heyday, the let Russ cook days in Seattle? Was he ever that good? No.
Yes.
Is he as bad as he was at times the last 2 years? No. I think he's somewhere in between. I don't know that he's not as good as he once was. He's not as bad as he looked, especially last year. He looked a lot better this year, obviously. I think he's somewhere in between. So all I try to do is kind of temper the enthusiasm about him. So if I'm an organization, you just rattled off all these teams that should be lining up to sign Russell Wilson. Yeah. I would say why. And that's not a rhetorical question.
Because they don't have quarterbacks. Because they don't have good quarterbacks.
The Patriots have the number 3 pick. The Patriots have the number 3 pick in the draft.
Draft a quarterback, draft
Atlanta,
one, and then sign. Yeah, but okay.
And again,
and just to be clear on the Patriots.
Let me be consistent real quick. Let me be consistent.
Okay, go ahead.
I like the fact that I would only have to pay Russell Wilson $1 million. So that's intriguing to me. But I'm not looking at. But let me make sure I'm clear on what I'm saying here. And my counter to you when you were like the Raiders should be interested and the Steelers and all this kind of stuff. It's like I don't think he's the answer. I'm willing to throw $1 million at him and see, but I'm not stopping there. Like if I'm the Patriots, I would prefer to draft a Jaden Daniels or a Drake May. Unproven though they may be, I'd rather start with a young guy than try to catch lightning in the bottle with Russell Wilson as my bridge quarterback, so to speak. If I'm the Falcons, we'll get to them in a second. There's been speculation that they may trade up to number 3 with the Patriots. There's another quarterback who we'll talk about in a minute that they may or may not be in pursuit of. The Raiders, same thing. Antonio Pierce said the other day, we don't want to keep band-aiding this situation. Pittsburgh, again, I'm not surprised that Pittsburgh reportedly isn't interested, because even though on paper it seems like, and he is an upgrade over what they currently have, or what we think they currently have. Again, Russ is not like we got to have this guy. Like, he's the answer. He's going to solve all our problems. I think there's a certain way you have to play around Russell Wilson and a certain system that he needs to thrive in. I don't know that he's just a guy that you can. This is what we saw. He is not a guy that you can just drop into a situation, just add water, and expect great results. Again, $1 million makes that gamble worth taking. So I think 2 things can be true. It could be very appealing from a cost standpoint, but I'm not falling over myself to get Russell Wilson and think our problems were solved. The Broncos just found out the hard way it's not that simple with him.
Well, but see, this is what, and just let me give you the breakdown, though, especially with Pittsburgh and New England. So let's start with New England.
Mm-hmm.
With that third pick, I don't believe the Patriots should trade that third pick. I think they should use it. They should use it on a quarterback. That's what I believe. And so I went in thinking, Patriots, the third pick, they take a quarterback, and then their veteran quarterback will be somebody like one of these free agents, Ryan Tannehill, Gardner Minshew, Jacoby Brissett, one of those guys. But what's crazy, Michael, is that Russell Wilson is cheaper than the three guys I just named. You can't get Gardner Minshew for $1 million. You can't get Jacoby Brissett for $1 million. So he's cheaper and he's better. He's better than those guys. So I agree with you. He's not as good as he was in the Russ Cook days, not as bad as he appeared to be last year. You put that all together, you probably got the number 15 or number 16 quarterback in the league, middle of the pack. Middle of the pack. You can name 10 easier. 11 to 16. I might give you a homework assignment.
It's in my DNA.
11 to 16.
It's in my DNA.
I don't know.
It's like it's a gift and a curse. It's a strength and a weakness. Like I try so hard to be fair to people. I try so hard to be fair to people. So I'm trying to be fair to Russ. And I'm trying
if you don't think he's 16,
I think you get to 16 quicker than you think.
Go ahead and be harsh with your elegant language. Don't say
I think you get to 16
say it better.
Quicker than you think.
Because if you think he's lower than 16,
I think you get to 16 quicker. No. Like sucks is like you don't belong in the NFL. Suck. That's what sucks means to me.
Okay.
It's like you're.
You think he's below average. So if you think he's a 17.
I think at best he's average. At best he's average. I think you get to 16 much quicker than you realize.
Okay. Nope.
I think you get to 16
and then
much
the
quicker than you realize.
Then the other thing on Pittsburgh, I'll say this quickly on Pittsburgh. So New England shouldn't want him just for a year. Just for a year, just have him in there, and then you bring your young guy. It takes the pressure off your young guy to play immediately. Now, if the young guy beats him out in training camp, you spend $1 million, you move on, you trade Russ to somewhere else because it's just not going to work for you. He's not going to be a backup. All right, so it's really a no-brainer. No-brainer for New England. It's a no-brainer for Pittsburgh. Why? Because this is an organization like the Packers, at times Philly, but no, I'd say more like Pittsburgh and Green Bay. They don't spend a lot of money in free agency. They are looking for the deal. Why wouldn't you, if you're Pittsburgh, why wouldn't you take the deal?
Definitely bargain basement.
I mean, that's their lane. I'm speaking. That's your love language, Pittsburgh. That's your love language here.
But maybe,
how are you ignoring it?
Because maybe they see Russ the same way I and others in the league see Russ. Like that's what I'm getting at. It's like, okay, was this Denver situation? Did the Denver situation suck for him? Yes, it unequivocally did.
Write down some names now.
Unequivocally did. All right.
Keep going.
It was a bad fit. It was a bad fit for him. It was not all on him. Okay.
All right.
Would I gamble $1 million to make the Broncos trade look even worse by having him come to my place and maybe resurrect his career? Yeah, I probably take that gamble, but it's not a slam dunk, is what I'm saying. Again, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. That's not my intention.
No, you're not.
Okay, that's not my intention. I hope I'm not contradicting myself from one statement to the next. But what I'm saying is, it's like. It doesn't, that's what I say, color me shocked. It doesn't surprise me that Pittsburgh is like, no, we're good. Because maybe they don't think Russ is that good. I mean, like even for $1 million, maybe they're like, you know what? We'd rather draft another guy or rather, give Kenny Pickett a full season of a real offensive coordinator or improve other areas of our team. I don't know. Maybe they don't. But I'm not surprised. I just don't think he's this guarantee.
I just wrote down some names here. 2, 4, 6,
you want to make a list?
I got 11 names.
Oh, you want to make a list?
I got 11? I've got 11 names right now. And just tell me, and I'm telling you, I'm missing some, because this is not a definitive list. It's off the top of my head.
All right.
So I'm missing some obvious ones.
All right, we'll do this. We got time. Go ahead.
I ain't missing 5. Right. I don't think I'm missing 5. I'm missing 1.
Go ahead. Who you got?
Mahomes.
Who you got? Go ahead.
Mahomes.
All right, of course.
Lamar.
Right. Okay.
Burrow. Allen.
Yep.
Stafford.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you'll love this one. You'll love this one. Brock Purdy.
Thank you.
Jalen Hurts. Justin Herbert. Dak, CJ, brother from another's Jared Goff. I think that's 11. Who'd I miss? You got 5 more? I don't think so.
All right, the guy that Atlanta seems to covet, Kirk Cousins. I'll take Kirk Cousins over Russell Wilson.
Oh, see now, okay. I'll give you that.
I would take Kirk Cousins over him. I already told you that I would. This is not somebody to add to the list. I already told you that I would bet on Justin Fields' potential. Like if I were a team, I would prioritize acquiring Justin Fields over Russell Wilson if I were a quarterback needy team. But I'm not adding him to this list. I'm not adding him to this list of guys who are right now and based on their body of work are superior. Okay, so just to be clear on that. Trevor Lawrence. It's better than Russell Wilson.
I forgot about Trevor. Yeah, that's a good one. Trevor Lawrence, absolutely. So I'll give you Trevor Lawrence, and I approve. Our staff has approved Kirk Cousins and Lawrence. We're up to 13.
After last
and now
year,
I think it's
after last year, right here, right now, give me Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
Give me Jordan Love.
See. All right. So that's what I'm saying. Now we're questioning.
Give me Tua.
Baker Mayfield.
Give me Tua.
Mayfield. All questionable.
I'll take Tua.
All those guys. Tua maybe.
Like right now.
Mayfield no.
Right now. So there's your 5 if you needed 5. There's your 5. Cousins, Trevor, Baker, Love, Tua. There's your 5. If you just need to, I probably could keep going if I really wanted to.
Trevor, sure. Baker, no. I'm gonna reject Baker. I'll approve Trevor. Kirk Cousins. You said right now he hadn't thrown since the fall.
Oh, we ain't qualifying for injury. We're not qualifying for injury, are we?
All right.
No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, maybe Kirk Cousins. Tua.
He has not been good since he got to Cleveland for one reason or another. But I take Deshaun Watson right now over Russell Wilson as a player. I take Deshaun Watson.
They were better without him.
One could argue Kyler Murray. One maybe could talk about guys you just want right now over Russell Wilson. I'll take Kyler Murray over him. Old ass Aaron Rodgers. Still gotta count him. Forgot he's still playing. He ain't retired yet. Bro, we in the 20s now. My math is math, and we in the 20s right now.
Well, yeah, because you just throwing you just go ahead and say it.
Shit against the wall.
Say it. Don't say he sucks, but say he's below average. You don't think he's average if you putting Baker Mayfield in front of him.
At best, average. At best. I qualify. One could argue. Jordan. One could argue for several of these people. But like if I'm looking for a quarterback right now and I got my pick, it's gonna be a while before I get to Russ. It's gonna be a while before I get to Russ.
But here's the problem. You don't.
That ought to show you that it's not personal with Russ. That ought to show you that I ain't a hater because I'm sitting up here being nice to dude. I'm being too nice. I'm bending over backwards, being too nice, being too generous. Like that's the reality of the situation.
I'll give you 14 or no doubt. 14 names, no doubt. And then the rest of them are low. Like, yeah, if you shade it that way, use that metric, you might have an argument. But I would say you said something important here. You said, if I have my choice.
Tell me what that was. Yes, right.
You said, if I have my choice of quarterbacks, I'm not taking Russ, or I'll look elsewhere. These teams that I mentioned don't have a choice. They're either going to go with an unknown.
They can draft one. There's an
unknown. Or
there's an unknown.
You got Russ. Throw him in the pool of available free agents. You got Tannehill. You got Brissett. You got Gardner Minshew. I mean, you got that's the caliber of quarterbacks in Russell Wilson.
But
that's what you're looking at.
There's at least 4 guys in the draft that, again, if I'm one of these quarterback needy teams, I'd be targeting them first. At least 4 guys in the draft.
You can do both.
You know.
I'm just saying you can do both.
Yeah, it could be a bridge. I just think he's a shaky bridge, and I think he leaves a lot to be.
And
desired.
I know you're not.
But
for Mike, I know you're not saying this.
I get it. So why not find out?
I know you're not saying it. I'm just asking. Do you think? And because it's a separate conversation, you think just not that good. Just forget about all the other stuff, the extra stuff. Just Russell Wilson on the field. But Russell Wilson off the field.
By the way, there's no extra stuff.
I know you're not saying that. I know you're not saying that.
No, I'm not. But I just want to reiterate. What extra stuff are we really talking about? We don't like we don't like him saying let's
The
ride.
whispers.
We think he's
gossip.
calculated. We think he's calculated.
Yeah.
We don't think he's authentic. We don't think he's genuine.
that kind of stuff. That's what I mean.
Right.
Just that kind of chatter.
He's not alone
And
in
you
that
know-
club, and that, how many
you know where that
teammates went to his
chatter is
birthday
coming
party?
from.
It's like, all right, he ain't a criminal.
The chatter-
Not all out.
I'm going to blame some of his ex-teammates in Seattle.
Oh, for sure.
One of whom
absolutely.
you work
I work with every Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, every Thursday I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a hater. That might be the biggest Russ hater out there. All right. So, but all that
Sherm
being
got
said,
PTSD from that Super Bowl. I know that much.
yeah, I mean,
That's from that Super Bowl.
dude be melting down on the set anytime like Russ had that game. He threw the interception. He just flipping out.
Yeah, no.
He started flipping out.
Yeah.
But do you think that is that a deal breaker? If you're one of these teams, like if I've already mentioned, hey, I want to take one of these young quarterbacks. I want Drake May and Russell Wilson. I want Jaden Daniels and Russell Wilson. If you're one of these teams, would it give you pause? All the chatter, all the whispers, the gossip about Russell, would that give you pause about putting him in the, for lack of a better example, the Alex Smith position, where Alex Smith is the statesman who's just sitting there saying, hey, I know, this guy's next. I got one more year in this spot, and I'm going to give up. I'm going to go to my seat and give it to the assistant. The assistant pastor go take over, okay?
Well, listen,
he going to become the pastor.
I mean, listen, Russ is a man of faith. He's a man of God, and he has often said, most recently, tough times don't last, tough people do. God's got me, looking forward to what's next. So if he's going to be consistent in that walk, that shouldn't be Russ's concern next year. Russ's concern, and I think that's why people were taken aback, myself included, quite honestly, about the idea of I want to win 2 Super Bowls in the next 5 years. Like, bro, you need to land on your feet somewhere and put one foot in front of the other. Land on your feet and then put one foot in front of the other before you start talking about precisely 2 Super Bowls in 5 years. Not that we can't have goals, but a goal without a plan is a wish. And so I don't think Russ should be his concern, nor based on the person he presents, I don't think it will be his concern what's in store for him beyond next year. I think wherever he goes, he's going to want to play good. He just needs to worry about playing good football. But one name that came to mind for me, though, was Geno Smith. I don't have the quotes in front of me, but I believe Geno Smith had nothing but good things to say about Russell Wilson as a teammate in that quarter. What? No, I mean, he was complimentary of Russ.
No, I was going to say, no, he's better.
Oh.
Geno Smith's better than Russ.
The guy who
we forgot
replaced
him. He's better.
What I tell you?
I got to.
You're coming over to my side. You're coming over to my side of the screen. Little by little, you're coming over to my side of the screen. But no, he was, if I recall, he was complimentary of the Russ, the teammate. The real thing is going to be, can he go into a quarterback room and either be a mentor to a young guy that's supposed to be a successor, or, like you asked earlier, could he be a backup? I don't know, because I think it takes a special guy to navigate the politics of a quarterback room when you're not the guy, when you don't have the big contract.
That's right.
When I was watching Moneyball the other day, and when Brad Pitt's Billy Bean went in and talked to my man Stephen Bishop's David Justice, and he was like, "You're not paying me $8 million to bunt." He was like, "I'm not paying you $8 million. The Yankees are paying you $8 million. That's what they think of you." You know what I'm saying? So the Broncos are paying you $39 million to not play for them. So if he goes to another team, I don't think he can walk in there and come in on his high horse like he's going to be a savior, like he's going to be the face of the franchise. He's got to come in there just looking for a shot at redemption. And I think
absolutely.
If he humbles himself, I think he has a shot to do that. I think he has a shot to maybe do that. But I don't know how instant those results are going to be, or how gratifying those results are going to be, because of my reservations about Russ, the player. We referenced this a couple of times. Atlanta. So look, apparently Atlanta got eyes for Kirk Cousins. Although this story, honestly, it reeks, I'm not saying it's not real, but it reeks of trying to drum up leverage in negotiations with the Vikings. Like, the Vikings have been good to Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, for the most part, has been good for the Vikings. I realize his wife's parents live nearby, but he has lived in Minnesota for a long time. My read in this situation is, even though there are some dots to connect in Atlanta, whether it's the coaching staff or his wife's family nearby, which matters. You and I both know that type of thing does matter.
It matters, but come on, bro.
This feels like a narrative and a storyline being drummed up in order to leverage the Vikings into giving them the contract that he wants. Because Kirk Cousins is nothing if not a shrewd businessman.
Yeah, hey, look, Mike, Kirk Cousins, whoever his agent is, I don't know if he represents himself or he has an agent.
No, he got an agent.
Okay, brilliant job. Kirk Cousins, if you just look at what he is, and I think he is just a really, solid NFL quarterback. Nobody has ever called him great. Nobody has ever said, we're going to build our offense around Kirk Cousins, outside of Kyle Shanahan who wanted to do it. But if you look at the money, Kirk Cousins had, the real money. This is like this is the guarantee guy. He should have an oil painting of Kirk Cousins should be in the NFLPA.
Didn't he do it before Deshaun? He did it before Deshaun. Didn't he have like a 3-year fully guaranteed deal with Minnesota? Yeah.
He keeps stacking. Kirk Cousins is about to stack. So I understand
Kirk
they're
Cousins
drumming up.
It's just good enough. Okay, conversely, Kirk Cousins is just good enough to make you keep falling in love with him. And there's an infatuation, there's a lust around Kirk Cousins because all these guys from the McVay-Shanahan tree be like, dude, that guy can run our offense. And that tree now extends into Atlanta. And so they're like, yo, this dude knows how to run this system. He may not be great in prime time. He may not take us to the promised land, but damn it, he's going to win some games. He's going to put up some numbers. And he's going to be and his teammates are going to like him. He's going to be great in the building. He's just like, all the way back to Washington. People with Kirk Cousins. These coaches are infatuated with Kirk Cousins.
It's amazing.
Even if it costs you Patrick Mahomes. Like Kirk Cousins is you talk about an oil painting in the NFLPA office. Kirk Cousins is that embodiment of that meme where the dude walking down the street with his girlfriend and he turn around and he looking at the girl walking by. That Kirk Cousins is a girl walking by and every other quarterback is the girlfriend. Whether it's Patrick Mahomes or anybody else, like everybody's like, but what if I had Kirk Cousins? He's a good quarterback. I like him. I do. I would take him. I mean, at 35, he's not the long-term answer. He's
likable.
Yeah. He's intriguing. It's like, Kirk Cousins.
You said teams.
Because I can look on film and see him, to say nothing of the fact that all of these coaches and their disciples trace back to that Washington coaching staff. They all trace back, their roots are in that Washington coaching staff. They all came up watching film of Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is in their head because when they're breaking down their film and they're going through their system and their install, you know what they're watching film of? Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins making the right read and the right throw in this Shanahan, McVay, McDaniel system. That's what it is. They
don't fall in love with him, Mike.
He is the patron saint of this system, is who he is.
They enjoy his company. They enjoy his company, but they're not in love. They just enjoy his company. Hey, who you gonna go to the dance with? Oh, Kirk. I'm going with Kirk. Girl, why don't you marry him? No, that's fine.
He's safe.
He's good.
Hey, Mike, make you feel dangerous, but also safe.
So if this story is about drumming up interest, well, successful, because that's what he does. He drums up interest better than anybody in the league. And
what if it's real though?
Whoever signs
what if it's real?
It's gonna be
What if he's really about to go to Atlanta? Like we already talked about it. Whoever goes to Atlanta, whether it's Fields, whether it's Russ, whether it's Jaden Daniels, whether it's J.J. McCarthy or Kirk Cousins, whoever goes to Atlanta is like walking on sunshine.
I know. Calm down.
Hold on.
Calm down.
Hold on. Settle down. You're not a
Calm
McCarthy
down.
guy? You're not a McCarthy? I thought you loved all
JJ
McCarthys.
McCarthy.
I thought you loved all
Calm down with
McCarthys. You're not a McCarthy guy?
Now,
You don't buy into the idea that he's toolsy. They just ran the ball a lot, as Ohio State well knows, that he's got more than he showed in college.
This is not a shot. This is facts. I wouldn't put it past the University of Michigan to miss a top 10 quarterback prospect that they have right in front of them.
Well played. Well, that's not a shot.
Since they happen to have the greatest quarterback of all time,
and
they wanted to split time with Drew Henson. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put it past him. However, I'm skeptical.
Wouldn't put it past him to hold somebody back. That's funny.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I'm skeptical, though.
That was funny.
I'm skeptical. I don't know about that.
Well, you know how this process works. People gonna fall. They're gonna force themselves to fall in love with J.J. McCarthy and his potential and his tools. I mean, I like the kid. I mean, from what I watched, I can see the potential, even if the production wasn't what we've come to expect from collegiate quarterbacks nowadays. But like his metrics look pretty good. So
okay.
and he's got the physical tools. One other NFL story I want to hit with you real quick. Not as bad as, hey, remove your injury guarantee and we're going to bench you. But apparently you got a problem with how the Cowboys. You ever seen Four Brothers?
Yeah.
Remember Victor Sweet and Four Brothers? I like the way you do business. Apparently you do not like the way the Cowboys are doing business with one Micah Parsons.
Yeah, and I just want to point out that this is a common conversation in the NFL. As a matter of fact, the NFL hires people, hires former general managers, hires former coaches to look at film, to determine whether somebody, when it's a judgment call, hey, is this guy, based on what you see, is this guy a defensive end or is this guy a linebacker? Based on what you see, is this when tight ends make the argument, I'm really a wide receiver more than I'm a tight end, I should be paid, because the tight end number is much lower, franchise number is much lower than the wide receiver number. So there are really people watching film right now trying to determine where a guy should be slotted. But that being said, Micah Parsons was drafted as a linebacker. As a rookie, he was compared to Lawrence Taylor, who was a linebacker. He has the ability to rush the passer at an elite level. He has the ability to play the position as a linebacker, drop into coverage, whatever you need him to do. And the Cowboys are designating him as a defensive end to save $2.7 million. Shame on you. Shame on you. Even if you think that he's more like an edge who is masquerading as a linebacker, that's your family. That's your guy. Go ahead. It's $2.7 million. Shame on you with your cheap ass. Okay? This is all about saving a few bucks for Jerry Jones. And by the way, people think the Cowboys, but let me just say one more thing. I'm just going to get this out. People think the Cowboys and Jerry Jones will do anything it takes to win a championship because Jerry wants to win. Do you know the Cowboys are at the bottom of the league in cash spending, and they have been for about 10 years. They're cheap.
Are they really?
They're cheap.
Are they really?
Yes. So shame on them. That's a
They're
linebacker.
at the bottom of the league in cash spending?
Cash spending, you know who else is down there in cash spending? The Patriots.
No, I know that.
Like the Cowboys are like 31st or 32nd in cash. I'm not talking about the cap. I'm talking about actual cash spending. Now, you can play games with that and say, hey, we had a quarterback. For part of those 10 years, we had some rookies in there who were outperforming their contracts, and this is before the big contracts came in, whatever. I'm just telling you, in cash spending, they're at the bottom of the league. Look it up. But in the case of Micah Parsons, they know better.
So I think this is much ado about nothing, to be honest with you.
What?
Does it matter to you that he played 88% of his snaps at defensive end last season? Does that matter to you?
Nope.
Okay. I mean, because it's like, if you say his designation as a linebacker and that designation carries an extra $2.7 million, then I can say, yeah, but he played 88% of the time at defensive end.
He was a defensive end.
And what makes him special is not when he runs backwards, it's when he's running toward the quarterback. But okay, you said a second ago about Russ. Ain't nobody doing favors out here. This is business.
Right.
So when they sit down at the table, this is really why I say as much ado about nothing. Okay, because maybe they could have done right by their guy and given him that extra $2.7 million on a fifth-year option that chances are he'll never see. Now, this fifth-year option may serve as the baseline in negotiations with his agent, David Mulligetta. But at the end of this process, Micah Parsons is going to get paid. And this development will be a footnote in the story of him being the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. Sooner or later, they're going to have to break him off something real proper like. And there's no way around that. They're not going to be able to play funny with his money. They're just not going to be able to do it. So maybe it's for their cap this year, that $2.7 million, if they carry him on that fifth year option, maybe it helps with cap management this year. But trust me, you're going to get that $2.7 million and more. The other reason I don't think it's a big deal is, I did not realize that the Cowboys were at the bottom of the league in cash spending. I'll accept your representation on that. But just anecdotally, I don't recall Jerry Jones not only paying the people who needed to get paid, but in many cases overpaying people who needed to get paid. Like, I don't remember Jerry Jones sparing an expense on stars. I mean, no, he's paid older guys. He's paid, one that comes to mind, he had a great season last year. He probably should have given that contract to Ezekiel Elliott. But he loved him so much. I think we know better than to give big money to most running backs nowadays. But he loved Ezekiel Elliott enough to give him a contract that by the end of it, he was splitting time with Tony Pollard. Okay?
But let him walk. They let him walk. Letting Pollard
and he had
walk.
A great year. And he had a great year in New England last year. Well,
Tyron Smith about to walk.
And he's paid Tyron. And Tyron Smith has been paid. Now, it might not have done the best contract for him. What was it, a 10-year deal or whatever he did? But I don't recall. It was an 8. I don't recall anecdotally, I don't recall Jerry Jones not paying his guys, not paying the stars that play for the star. But I do agree with you. It reminds me of The Departed. Do you want to be a cop, or do you want to appear to be a cop? It's an honest question. Most people just want to, does Jerry Jones really want to win a Super Bowl? Does he really want to go all in, or does he want to appear to go all in? Because the latter is good for the brand, as well as, to your point, the bottom line.
Well, let me ask you this real quick. I'm going to say this. And this is an opportunity to say, rest in power to someone we both knew and spent some time with, Tim Wakefield. So Tim Wakefield, he died from cancer, and so did his wife 5 months later. Really sad story. But Tim Wakefield,
tragic, yeah.
Former pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, used to say this because he was a starter. He'd throw a knuckleball. He could, if the starters were really in a bad stretch, if the bullpen was worn out, you could throw Wake in there on 3 days rest because he threw that knuckle and he'd bounce back fast. If your bullpen needed help, you could put Wake in the bullpen as a long guy. Now, if you really were desperate, you could make Wake your closer, although a knuckleballer as a closer is a little sketchy there.
Yeah,
but I remember when they were bouncing him around, he said something to the effect of, they're using my versatility against me. And so, yes, 88% of the time at defensive end. Why? Because he can. And so it's good for the team during the season. Hey, Micah, can you play corner? I sure can. Can you play linebacker? I sure can. Hey, we need you at defensive end. We need you. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3, family. All this stuff, right? But then when it's time to get paid, well, according to my analytics, you were a defensive end 88% of the time. Take your analytics somewhere. And the same thing happens across many industries. Hey, I'm sure it's happened to you. Michael Smith, you could be an analyst. Michael Smith, you could be an insider. Michael Smith, you could be a host, play-by-play, whatever it is. But when it's time to get you paid, They'll go with the lowest number.
We don't know what you are.
Come on.
Yeah, we don't.
Come on.
No,
Right.
no.
Come on, man.
And it happens. It's happened quite a bit with all pro designations, which affect contract negotiations. Mike, well said. I don't disagree with you. I think at the end of the day, he's going to win. I
hope so.
I don't. Because what I don't think. So maybe Jerry Jones isn't the free spender that his reputation might suggest. Okay. And maybe I got my head on my ass until I didn't realize that. Okay, fine. But I don't think he's stupid. And, I think when you have a player like Micah Parsons, either you're going to pay him or he's going to sit. And he's not going to play. I'd just be shocked if he might. I'd be shocked if he showed up and played on his fifth-year option. That was surprising. Me. I think this deal gets done, and this is water under the bridge. It would have been the right thing to do. It would have been a nice gesture. It absolutely would have been a nice gesture to say, hey, you know what? We're gonna give you the linebacker designation, just cause. It don't matter, because you're a football player. And we just gonna give this is a placeholder. This is a placeholder anyway. So that 2.7 don't matter. That would have been probably the right thing to do. I don't know what their rationale was. I could see why this would turn people off. But at the end of the day, my man gonna get his money. That's why I'm not really worried about it. So I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm also not worried about it.
Not worried about it. That's fair.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
But I hope he does.
Yeah. No, but you're right. And listen, that hit home.
Do you see yourself taking part in the dunk contest in the future?
I got to do my part and make the All-Star game. If I'm in the All-Star game, I'll do the dunk contest. But if I'm not doing it.
Well, I guess that means we got to do our part to get Zion Williamson in next year's All-Star game. Because we need him in a dunk contest.
All you got to do is play. All you got to do is stay healthy. He'll be there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought that was a shot. Okay. I'm
not taking a shot.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a shot. All right.
Hey.
No,
it's not coming yet. Shots are coming. Shots are coming soon, but not yet.
So if he's there, which he should be, like you said, he absolutely should be if he's on the court, if he's healthy enough, he should be. The only reason I want to bring this up is because you said when we did the post-mortem on the All-Star weekend that the dunk contest is done. Just get rid of the dunk contest. Like it's over.
Yeah.
Like it's run its course. It's no longer a novelty. It's not impressive for anybody to dunk. Except for Zion Williamson. And in fact, we've already had, no, I'm just saying, because Zion Williamson is the perfect combination of star player and incredible dunker athlete. Like most of the star players aren't great dunkers that you ain't trying to see them in the dunk contest. And he's still young enough, still spry enough, right? Most of the great dunkers, hell, maybe they come from the G League or somewhere else, right? So it's like, well, this guy is a marquee name, which is exactly what the dunk contest needs, who could actually deliver. To say nothing of the fact that here's the other guy, his draft mate. I mean, this would be a showdown. One. Thank you. He already kind of teased us a little bit. If the dunk contest was Ja versus Zion, that's all we need. We don't need nothing else. We don't need no other contestants.
No, we need more though.
We need other participants. I mean, you can bring Mac back. You bring Mac back to defend his title. All right.
You need a lot of people.
No, you don't. No. You don't need to. I don't want too many people in the club. I don't want too many people in the VIP.
No, you need everybody in the club.
Then like VIP too crowded. Like why we say VIP no more? It's just another part of the club with just more bottles. Like no, I don't. And I ain't been in the club in years. I rarely was in VIP.
I want several.
Who else you want in the dunk contest? Why? That's enough.
I want several big names.
No, because
wasn't
your solution was that it needed to be quicker? Oh no, you're talking about the All-Star game.
The All-Star
game needed to be shorter. Okay.
Yeah, but and I'm being sarcastic too with the feed item saying, we need heroes and Bane. Did you get that? Bane, villain. Heroes and villains. You need God among us. You need Emmanuel himself to save the dunk contest. Man, it ain't no saving it. It ain't no saving it. Forget it.
If Zion does I'm tuning in.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
Yeah, I will. Absolutely, I will. Absolutely, I will. Absolutely, I will. Because first of all, ain't shit else going on Saturday night. That's number one. I don't know about you, but I ain't in the club I just referenced. So of course I'm watching it because Zion, I recognize that guy as opposed to walking it out. It's like, who? I'm tuning in to see Zion.
What are you looking for?
You see Zion dunk in games? You just talked about how people dunk and they rarely bring you out of your proverbial seat. They rarely impress you with a dunk in a game. And Zion definitely does. Absolutely. Zion does some shit in games. I'm like, damn, you're not supposed to be able to do that at his size. Like, remember when Dwight got in the dunk contest? It was great. When Blake did the dunk contest, it was great. That's the easy solution. The All-Star game might not have an easy solve, but there's an easy solution to the dunk contest, and that's star players, people with name value, choosing to partake in the event. Ja and Zion, it won't realistically get any bigger than those two names. People would absolutely watch that and enjoy it, and they put on a show.
I think the dunk contest is a distressed asset that maybe cannot be brought back. But you do bring up a point about star players being involved and maybe being engaged. Maybe that's the answer to the dunk contest and the All-Star game. Just star player engagement. Don't change it. It's just engagement. Do you give a damn? Do you give a couple of F's about what you're doing? If you do, we'll probably have a good product. If you don't, we'll be having the same conversation last year.
So, and not to be broken record on this conversation.
And the same conversation next year that we had last year.
Right. Yeah. But we're past the All-Star game. But I don't think it's that they don't care, because they care enough to shoot threes. They care enough to go out. They don't care about playing defense. It's one specific aspect of the basketball experience. Excuse me, that they don't.
Let your players say that to you. Hey, coach.
No,
I care. I just don't care about playing defense.
No. But I don't think. I mean, they're there at the All-Star game. They're participating in all the ancillary events. They're out there having fun, but they're not taking it seriously. You can care about something but not take it too seriously. We want them to take it seriously in the form of playing defense. They're not going to do that. They're just not going to do that. I don't even think the money would help.
Experience. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. Money wouldn't help. It's just a matter of it's here. It's here. You gotta. Are you into this or not? And if you're into it, I think we'll get an entertaining, competitive product. Whether it's Saturday, All-Star Saturday night, or All-Star Sunday. But if you're not going to be into it, no matter what, I don't care how we incentivize you or what we say and how we format the thing. If you're not into it, it's just not going to be good. But I hope you get what you're looking for, Ja and Zion and the dunk contest.
I would sign up for that. So the Celtics looked like a slam dunk to win the NBA title, or at least the Eastern Conference. Although shout out to Milwaukee, shout out to Doc in Milwaukee, like they're getting their shit together. But the Celtics were running roughshod over people. Had 111 straight, up by 22 against
in the fourth quarter.
The team of your youth.
In the fourth quarter.
Right, against the team of your youth, the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Utes. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Did you say Utes? And even without Donovan Mitchell and Mobley, right? And they were missing Evan Mobley.
Yeah, Mobley goes out in the third quarter.
Mobley. Yeah. They still managed to come back behind D. Wade. Dean Wade, that is. 20 in the fourth quarter. And it came down to, all right, sidebar. I'll get to the sidebar first. Because if anytime there's bad officiating, we write about it, we rail about it, we complain about it,
yes.
we talk about what a crisis it is. That was the right call at the end of that game.
Yes,
Jayson Tatum extended his leg, initiating the content. After review, no foul, excellent officiating. So I wonder, was this just a hiccup in March? Because the question with the Celtics, nobody questions their talent. Nobody questions the balance of their starting five. Greatest offensive team, statistically speaking, in history. One of the most dominant teams in terms of point differential that we've ever seen. This recent win streak, I mean, they were just blowing people out left and right. They got 3 wins by 50 points. We know they're good. We know they're talented. Are they smart enough and poised enough to not choke in the playoffs? Be it the Eastern Conference Finals,
that's the question.
Be it the NBA Finals, because they've been there, they've been right there. It's not like they're a first round and out team. And so, what does last night have to do with that? Does last night give you a
last
hit?
night?
Or was it just one of those nights where Dean Wade caught fire? Because I mean, some of them shots he was hitting was just like out of this world. And that's a good team. By the way, that's not the Cavaliers are third in the East, a distant third from the Celtics. Everybody's distant from the Celtics, but they're a good team.
Good.
This is on the road.
They're really good.
It was Kelsey night. It was all sorts of, I mean, so is this shit happens, or do the Celtics still have too much shit to them?
Kelsey night, Cleveland Heights night, everything going on. Okay, look, you asked me a few weeks ago about the Celtics, what's their weakness? And I told you one, I think I told you the wrong one. I led you wrong, and I think
you said it was their depth or lack thereof.
Yeah, exactly. A few weeks ago I said depth, you know, they need a guy. They need a couple of guys to prove themselves in the playoffs because right now, coming off the bench, they have either, on a normal night, they got Al Horford, who is proven, but they also have Sam Hauser, unproven, Peyton Pritchard, unproven, Luke Cornett, okay, those guys. But that's not the problem. The problem is what you just said. It is these frustrating bouts. I feel like I'm talking about kids sometimes. These frustrating bouts where everything is going well and you do something so inexplicable, so unnecessary, it makes me wonder if I can trust you when the moment comes. So the Celtics running away with the game and the Eastern Conference, but in the game, 22-point lead in the fourth quarter. Jayson Tatum starts shooting his way and his team out of the game. 1 for 9 in the fourth quarter. Jaylen Brown does not score, does not take a shot in the fourth quarter. Plays 5 minutes in the fourth quarter. We showed Joe Mazzulla there, the head coach, second-year head coach. Now, last year, you know what, talk about disrespectful. Last year, his nickname, this is just wrong, but last year, his nickname was Second Row Joe. It was Second Row Joe because he was.
Why would you even repeat that? He came from like. I get the joke. I get it. You should explain it. You can't explain the joke. Don't explain the joke. I get it. Why are you laughing at it? You said it's wrong, and you out here celebrating it. It's up. It's like, why you sitting up here like, oh, this is so wrong? Like, you can't, this is disrespectful.
I may have used it.
Did you give him this nickname?
I may have used it.
I'm about to say. Talk about last year his nickname was, as in you gave him that nickname?
I didn't give it to him, but it was out there. It was out there, and I may have, kept it going.
Disrespectful.
I may have kept it in the atmosphere.
That's
Second Row Joe, but listen, this year.
That's such a Boston media thing to do.
It is.
That's what they be talking about with y'all. Y'all do that kind of stuff.
It is. It is.
Second
it ain't a
Row
media
Joe.
thing. It was a fan thing. It was a fan. I took it from I got it from the fans. Anyway.
All right. Okay.
But Joe Mazzulla has, this year, you look at their start. But last night, Michael, not in addition to all the things I said about the 22-point blown lead and Jayson Tatum, it's 16 seconds left in the game. Joe Mazzulla's got this thing. I don't know what it is. Somebody needs to tell him he's allowed to use them. He had 2 timeouts, 16 seconds left. It's almost like he thinks the timeouts are in escrow, and you can't touch him for 3 months. You can touch him. Do this. Call a timeout. Doesn't call a timeout. Watches Tatum kind of dribble into that bad shot that you talked about where he's like, oh, at the end, I'm just going to put this little punctuation on. I'm going to kick my leg up. Hope I get a call. He got a call. Fortunately, it was overturned. But these are the types of things that kind of wear down the Celtics. These things kind of nip at the Celtics, and they hover over them. And until they answer these questions, the questions about them right now are fair. They haven't answered the questions sufficiently. Can you come through in the clutch? This year in the clutch, their record is 11-9. So down the stretch, 5 points, game within 5 points, 5 minutes to go. They're 11-9, a little different than that Sterling running away with the
48
NBA.
13, yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Okay.
Jayson Tatum on a shot to win the game,
Yeah.
0 for 7. 0 for 7 this year.
Okay,
For a chance to win it?
Came with
0 for
stats.
7. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Got some numbers.
I am impressed. I am impressed.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. Okay. You have trust issues when it comes to Boston for all the reasons you just laid out.
Yep.
Will this matter before the NBA Finals? Because I wonder, when you look at the Eastern Conference, the only team as presently constituted, for the most part, you know, a few new faces,
Yep.
that can say, been there, done that, got the T-shirt,
Word.
is Miami. Is Heat culture. That's the only team
over the Celtics, you mean?
in the Eastern Conference. I'm saying
Well,
if you don't trust the Celtics, well, no, they won a championship with Mike Budenholzer and Drew Holiday and Giannis Antetokounmpo, but like
Well, you're saying, but this group
Doc
right
Rivers,
here.
I'm saying in the Eastern Conference, if you don't trust
Miami's
the Celtics,
got a different group.
No, that's what I said for the most part. I said for the most part. But I'm talking about like the core in Miami or just Heat culture. No matter what the Heat's record is, you know they're going to find a way to ruin somebody's playoff party. You know they're going to find, like, you're going to look at it like, damn, man, Miami again? It's just, that's just the way they are, okay? But I'm saying otherwise in the Eastern Conference, if you don't trust the Celtics, who do you trust? It's not like the Sixers and specifically Joel Embiid when he's healthy, having a track record of coming through in the playoffs. Milwaukee, yes, the Bucks won a championship recently behind Giannis. They look great again. Their defense seems to have, they seem to starting to figure it out on defense. They just beat the Clippers the other night without Giannis, right? Behind Dame Lillard. Mm-hmm. So it's like they're obviously a threat, but there are trust issues on the bench with Doc Rivers, even though he has won a championship in his career. We've talked ad nauseum about Doc Rivers, especially if they get up 3-1. Sorry, that might have been a low blow, though not as bad as second row Joe.
No, that's lower. That's lower.
So I mentioned the Sixers. Cavs are young and haven't been there, done that yet. So I guess it comes back to Boston. Like, is this a big enough issue to cost them against any of the other teams in the Eastern Conference, or is it once they face the Nuggets in the finals?
Mike, I trust them driving around the neighborhood. I trust them driving around the city. When you cross state lines, when you out of my view, okay?
When
you're on the other side of the country.
Then it becomes a federal offense, just so you know.
Right.
You cross the state lines.
Right, yeah, like, will you do the right thing? And I'm talking about the West, because I think they got the East. I think they got the East on lock. But when you take on Denver, we're going to see Denver. We're going to see them tomorrow. They play them, and that's a great matchup. But how are you going to do against Denver? How are you going to do against the Iron of the West, whether it's Minnesota or Oklahoma City or the Clippers or who knows? Like somebody surprises Phoenix and gets to the NBA Finals. How are you going to do when the stakes are highest? Because that's really what the Celtics are about. They've won more. I told you last week, they've won as many games as the Warriors the last 5 years. So they ain't got a championship to show for it. But regular season, they've won a bunch of games, but they haven't won a championship. And they really are judged by, are you championship material? Do you have championship metal? And right now, the answer is no. Answer is no. And it could be yes in June, but right now, we haven't seen it. So let's see it.
Okay. Fourth quarter of the season, man. It should be fun. It's a fun show. Speaking of stats, I've been told that we spend more time per Russ topic, Wilson or Westbrook, than any other topic in this show's history. So that's what the stats.
But you know what?
That's the stats show.
Let me give a shout out before we go, real quick. Shout out Mike Smith for this sweatshirt, because you know what, man? Seeing you wear this sweatshirt really helped me. Like, you Like what your faith has sharpened my faith. And that's why I put this shirt on. Your faith has sharpened my faith. And you have no idea. We'll do it another time, another show. I will be transparent and vulnerable, and I'll tell you all the things that have been on my mind, And then I see you wearing this sweatshirt. I say, oh, I need that, and you sent it to me.
Is this a
first gift I've gotten from Michael Smith in 10 years?
Is that right?
No,
is that right?
No, it's not. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. No, it's good. No.
I mean, it might be.
I'm kidding. No, it's not.
Gifts are my love language, exactly. No, thank you for that. Is there a phone conversation needed after this? Or we're gonna save it? We're gonna save it for another day?
We'll save it.
Okay.
We'll save it.
Okay. All right. In the meantime, hey, sleeper, download the app, engage. It's almost time for the startup draft. Just so you know, I need you to do your homework.
Yeah, I'm in.
I need you to do your homework.
Ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm drafting Russ with my first round pick. Now take that.
Hey, you know what? If you do that, can you trade me your 2025 first? Because I want you working for me. I want you working for me if you do that.
We used to remember we used to say that. Oh, he works for me.
Yeah. Oh, he working for me now. Yeah.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.